Hey solos, happy October. It is the perfect time to talk about, drumroll please, Christmas. So should you go to Disney World this Christmas season? What is included? What do you have to pay for? Is it weird being solo? Solo spoiler, Disney World at Christmas time is just the most magical place ever. You are fully enveloped in just like, it's like you're in one of those snow globes, like a Christmas snow globe, really, except it's very warm still. So, keep that in mind. Christmas at Walt Disney World is such a joyful place. It's such a joyful event, and being there solo allows you to really just soak in all of that Christmas joy, because that time of year can get so busy and so harried, and like you have all of these Christmas traditions perhaps that are all like entangled with all the family politics and drama and all of this different stuff. But being at Disney during Christmas, you can kind of put all of that inside, especially when you are there solo, and just really just appreciate the magic of this winter holiday. And it's just really, really wonderful. So in this episode, I'm going to talk about Christmas. Hi, everyone. It's Samantha. Olaf may not know who Samantha is, but now you do. And welcome to Disney Solo Magic, the #1 podcast for solo travel to Disney World. As I said, in this episode, I'm going to go over what Christmas is like at the Walt Disney World Resort, what's included, what you have to pay for, and what it's like to be there solo. As I said, it's such a special place to be around the Christmas season. And, just like Halloween, Christmas is like 4 months long. Christmas is like a good month and a half long. So there is a lot of opportunity for you to go and get some of that Christmas spirit, and then still go back home and do your normal thing with all the normal stuff, especially, gosh, in American households this year with an election. I mean, you might just need to get away just to be in a little snow globe of pure happiness around Christmas before you sit down with your family. Anyway. So just like in the summer, I wanted to make sure you had enough information to think about your fall trips. I wanted to make sure that you had this information to start planning for your festive trips in November and December if you are planning to go. However, this is also another kind of festive episode because the podcast started April the 1st, 2024, and this is October the 1st, 2024. It has been 6 whole months of this podcast. And while I think this is official full episode number 27, this is actually our 51st actual episode because I was doing so many bonus episodes. This is already 51, and that is pretty impressive if I do say so myself, because I've really, really appreciated, as I've said on the podcast many times, the growth of the podcast, the numbers really increasing, the listener count across all the different platforms, and I just really, really appreciate you. And I'm thinking about how to move into maybe like the second year of the podcast and what that might look like. So again, please make sure you follow me on Instagram. That's the best way to get in touch with me. I'm also on Facebook and on Threads, but letting me know what you want from this podcast will really help me start being able to plan what maybe a second year of this podcast might be like. I have some really great programming for the rest of this month, for November, for December, and I'm really excited about the early EPCOT festivals, Festival of the Arts, and the Flower and Garden Festival. And so let me know what else you want to hear about. Let me know what else you want to have podcast about related to solo travel, because it's just been so wonderful to get to know you and to hear about all of the really wonderful reasons why you all are going solo. I mean, wonderful reasons, like big celebratory reasons for sure, but also some really like tender reasons as well. So thank you for sharing all of that with me. It is really wonderful when people find this podcast on their own, but it really, really helps when you do things like rate, review, subscribe, like, all the different algorithm things that really help people find this podcast through the math magic or whatever. I saw this weekend that I got my very first 1-star review. Thank you very much. But I don't know if you know that 5-star is the best. I know I am like the number 1 star, but I don't know. It's kind of weird to put 1 star. Just don't listen, I guess. It would be awesome if you rated 4 and 5 stars if you're into this podcast. And if you want to rate 1 star, then maybe just don't listen. I don't know. Anyway, but any ratings, any sort of subscriptions, any sort of forwarding around to people is great. So thank you very much. At the end of the episode, I will let you know what is on the docket for October. And there's going to be some solo stories coming up, which is just amazing. Again, it's just really wonderful to connect with you and to share the solo stories with everybody. So let's look forward to that. Okay, there's a lot of preamble. Let's get into some holiday cheer. All right, so Merry Christmas, everybody. Now, I did do an episode talking about some of the Christmas stuff in July when they announced all the big things halfway to the holidays. And in that episode, I said I'm actually very pro happy holidays. I really love saying happy holidays. There's so many different holidays that happen during the winter season that I am very pro happy holidays. However, at Disney, even though they use holidays, it's really a Christmas festival. You have a little bit of stuff for Hanukkah. Not a lot. You have a little bit more for Kwanzaa, which is great. You have nothing for winter solstice. It is really, really a Christmas festival. So let's go all in for Christmas. And the Christmas season is really a time that you can go to the Walt Disney World Resort, which again is the giant city of Walt Disney World, and not even go to the parks and still get your infusion of the Christmas holiday spirit. So I'm going to talk about what is around the resorts, then what is in the parks, and then what are specially ticketed events. I am then going to talk about what it's like to be there solo, although, as always, I will dabble in some different stories throughout to be able to kind of share what my experience has been like going for Christmas the last couple of years. Not on Christmas. I don't really love crowds and this is important to say, I guess. So the week between Christmas and New Year's is historically the busiest week of all of the Walt Disney World calendar. So if you are planning on going during that week, know that it's going to be jam-packed. So just kind of keep that in mind. So let's just kind of continue about dates. So when does Christmas start at Walt Disney World? Well, it's actually not as hard of a start as you would think. There is a really great documentary on Disney Plus about them setting up all the Christmas decorations at Magic Kingdom and how they do it overnight. And they do, for the most part, overnight. And I feel like there's kind of like a mythology that it's October 31st, Halloween, and then that night of Halloween, you wake up on November 1st and it is like Christmas barfed over everything. And that really isn't true. Across the Walt Disney Resort, so again, Walt Disney Resort is the size of San Francisco. Across the Walt Disney Resorts, it really is kind of a staged Christmas set up. So while you will see Christmas decorations early in November at Magic Kingdom, you won't necessarily see decorations at the different resorts at the same time. So the closer you get to December 1st, the more likely you will see all the Christmas decorations. If you were there for American Thanksgiving, it probably will be all of Christmas already. So you need to keep that in mind. If you're there the week of November 15th, for example, then you aren't necessarily guaranteed to see all the Christmas decorations across the different hotels at Disney Springs and in the parks. Now, Magic Kingdom starts Christmas on November the 9th because that is the first ticketed party. So on that date, you are guaranteed to be able to see all of the Christmas decorations. The same is true at Hollywood Studios. The very first Jollywood Nights, which is their specially ticketed event, happens on November 9th. So November 9th for both the two main parks that have those specially ticketed events will be decorated for Christmas. But not everything will be, and that's important to keep in mind. So I started this part of the episode by saying I'm going to talk about the stuff that you can do kind of around the resort, then I'm going to talk about the parks, then I'm going to talk about the specially ticketed events. So I want to flag that calendar stuff early because if you want to go and quote save money and so not go to the park, then going in November isn't a great bet for you. Going in December is much, much better. So what do I mean by that? So across all of the 30 Disney hotels, they all have decorated for Christmas. They all have these beautiful Christmas trees. They have these garlands. Disney Springs is also very, very Christmassy. They have a Christmas tree stroll where they have these really, really unique trees set up all over Disney Springs. And you can get like a little scavenger hunt, page to find all of them. And they're really gorgeous to be able to look at. Plus, you can meet Santa at Disney Springs if you're interested in that. There's a few different of the food vendors that will have kind of Christmassy things. So Amorette's Patisserie will definitely have something very beautiful to look at and very expensive. The Ganachery, like the chocolate place, they'll also have some really great different chocolates for Christmas. Jock Lindsay's Hanger Bar, which I've never been to, but it seems kind of cool, has a few different appetizers and things like that are Christmas themed. And you'll definitely be able to find some sort of Christmas thing at Joffrey's and the Gideon's Cookie Bakehouse, which are not that good, but whatever. I don't know if I've said that on the podcast before. Maybe that's why I got the 1 star if I had. Oops. At the resorts, like I said, they are all decorated for Christmas. Last year during the Christmas season, I was staying at Port Orleans Riverside, and I just have all these pictures of the Christmas tree, just how beautiful it is, and all these pictures of the garland and just how beautiful it is. All of the Christmas trees are totally themed to the different hotels and to the different themes of the hotels. So you're going to get a completely different feel going to Port Orleans Riverside than Animal Kingdom Lodge, for example. And so if you're going for a couple days and you don't want to go to the parks, this is what you can do. You can go to Disney Springs. You can do the Christmas tree stroll. You can pick up a couple like tasty nutmeg type foods. You can go to the different resorts, look around at their trees, take some pictures, take some selfies, and maybe even get inspiration for your own tree at home. It's just really, really fantastic. And that is a great way to spend a couple days. There are a few different resorts that have some extra things. So at the Grand Floridian, they have this big gingerbread house. In fact, the gingerbread house is so big that it is actually a store. You can buy gingerbread in that store. There's also a giant tree right in that lobby of Grand Floridian, and there's usually PhotoPass photographers. So you can go get some gingerbread, take some photos. It's all really awesome. The last couple years, they've also done a new gingerbread building at the Contemporary Resort. And so again, you can go take some pictures, get something to eat. And in fact, I went and I bought things from the Contemporary because the Grand Floridian was just too busy for me, but there were some really, really interesting things at the Contemporary, and there just weren't as many people there. Now, the gingerbread display wasn't as fancy as it was at Grand Floridian, but the snacks were equally as good. Plus, because you're on the monorail, you're able to get between them very, very quickly. So, like I said, you can go for a few days and not go to the parks at all and really just kind of do Christmas through the different resorts, through Disney Springs. But again, you can really only do that or be guaranteed to do that in December. Maybe that last week between American Thanksgiving and the beginning of December. But really, once you're there in December, you are guaranteed to see those Christmas decorations. And it really is enough to take up those couple days. It's really, really fantastic. However, if you are going to the parks, then all 4 parks have some really awesome Christmas things as well. Let's start with Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom doesn't really do a ton of especially Christmas things, but don't sleep on it necessarily because it has all of these unique decorations around the different lands. And they also have these beautiful full body puppets that come out that are like Winter Wonderland type characters. And it really is quite lovely. And it's interesting because it is still Florida weather, so it's still tropical weather. There's something about the unique decorations at Animal Kingdom combined with the actual temperature that there is in Florida in December. It all just kind of makes a lot of sense. So it really, really is beautiful. If you are going during the Christmas season to be able to do full on Christmas stuff, then you can check out the character dining that's there at Tusker House. It is Mickey and Minnie and Donald and Goofy, and during the Christmas season, they are wearing a little Christmas outfit. And I did this last year and it was really great. And it was it's so, one of the episodes I'm going to be doing coming up is doing character dinings, things like that, what it's like to be solo and do character dinings. And what's really cool is when you talk to them about their outfits and the different Christmas touches in this case. They will point at it and they will like mime and act and interact with you about these different outfit pieces. And it's also a cool way to like get unique pictures because you can say, ooh, like show me that particular bow on the back of your dress or whatever. And it's a really cool way to interact with the characters. Now, in terms of food there wasn't anything particularly Christmassy at the food buffet at Tusker House, but it was just worth it to go in there and see the decorations and see their little Christmas outfits, and a really great way to kind of bring in some more Christmas spirit. Moving over to EPCOT, EPCOT has a food festival that is just for the month of December. That's another reason why going during November is kind of not as Christmassy, because the Festival of the Holidays only starts that November 29th, like after Thanksgiving weekend. So let's call it the Festival of the Holidays. As I have said in the past, it really is just a Christmas festival. There are storytellers throughout the different world pavilions that will tell different kind of cultural traditions, and there is the one Hanukkah thing at Walt Disney World during this season is the Jewish storyteller who tells the story of Hanukkah, and around the German pavilion they will have potato pancakes, which are basically latkes. I was a little worried last year with the, war in the Middle East about whether or not they were going to have the Jewish storyteller to tell the story of Hanukkah, but they did, which is really great because Judaism is not the same as a political state. So anyway, we of course need to support our Jewish friends and family members, and it was really great to be able to see them, and hopefully they did not experience any anti-Semitism while they were telling their stories. If you aren't super familiar with Judaism, then being able to take a moment to hear the story of Hanukkah from the storyteller is a really, really great opportunity. And Hanukkah this year is actually like the same time as Kwanzaa. It's that week between Christmas and New Year's. And so I think it'll be an even extra special time to be able to kind of mark that wonderful holiday. But that's it. There isn't anything else Hanukkah around Walt Disney World Resort during the holiday season. There has been an increase in merchandise for Hanukkah. And in fact, a couple of years ago, I actually bumped into a content creator that was tracking all of the different Hanukkah merchandise. And she was saying that, yeah, there has been a steady increase of Hanukkah merchandise. So you can find Hanukkah merchandise at Magic Kingdom, but it is very small. So even though EPCOT is called the Festival of the Holidays, it really is just Christmas. So there are the different storytellers, and then around all the different world pavilions, there are different Christmas trees and Christmas decorations that really are reflective of different cultural traditions in those different places, even if those places don't traditionally celebrate Christmas. And it's really very cool. And the Festival of the Holidays is all those different food booths, different foods that have different spices and different flavorings and kind of heavier meats and things like that you associate with the Christmas time. Last year was the first time I went, and I just thought it was really, really great. It was very unique. It wasn't like any of the other food festivals, and I really quite enjoyed it. Now, of course, you can go to EPCOT and walk around and not do any of the food festival stuff and still really get into the spirit of Christmas because of all the Christmas trees and all the Christmas decorations and things like that. But if you want to indulge in some of the foods, you have that option. But if you want to spend a little bit more money, then there are some other options that you have available to you as well. So this year, for the very first time, there's going to be a new Behind the Seeds tour that's just for Christmas. So Behind the Seeds is the behind the scenes tour for Living with the Land. Living with the Land usually has a Christmas overlay during the Christmas season. There's some extra lights and there's some like little dioramas of different spices associated with Christmas. This year they're going to do some evening tours of the greenhouse as well. At 6 and 7 o'clock, they are going to do a walk through like the behind the scenes tour, but it's going to be able to focus on the Christmas and holiday season and all the different lights and things like that. I'm really, really excited about that. I wanted to book as soon as the booking opened, which was yesterday, September the 30th. However, apparently I can't book until my 60-day window, which is the first time that has been the case with an Enchanted Extra. And I was talking to customer service about it, and they didn't really know either. So if you're going around this time, check to see if you are able to book, and then use maybe an app like Stakeout to identify when you can book in your window. So anyway, that's really, really cool. Another thing that EPCOT does, which is not an additional fee, is the candlelight processional. So just like all the different food festivals have a concert series, the concert series during the Festival of the Holidays is the candlelight processional, which is a chorus, a choir, and then a celebrity host telling the Christmas story. Now, I have talked about this on the podcast before, so forgive me if it is a little repetitive. I was really excited last year because there were some really cool celebrities that were going to be doing the Christmas story when I was going to be there. There was Simu Lee and John Samos and also Neil Patrick Harris, and I was really excited. I was planning on going, but I mean, it's the Christmas story. If you are interested in the biblical Christmas story, then it's very cool. But if Christmas to you is a more secular holiday, ironically, then it might not be as exciting. And that was the case for me. So I went and I sat outside the amphitheater, but I was like, I'm not into this. This is not for me. But I was really, really surprised how busy it was. And not because I'm surprised because people don't like that story or whatever. I was surprised because in comparison to some of the pop music and soul music, different concerts, I couldn't believe how many people were there. But then I also was thinking about the fact that there are this giant choir, this giant chorus, and it's all of their families that are there to watch them perform. So it's actually really, really cool how busy it is in that area during the candlelight processional, because it is all this family that's come to watch their family members perform and also to listen to the Christmas story. So that was pretty cool. This concert series also has a dining package. So if there is a celebrity that you really want to be able to see and you are dying to hear them recite the Christmas story, then booking the dining package might be a really good option for you. And I talked about the dining package more in the episode on the Food and Wine Festival. It's the same kind of deal. So go and listen to that episode for more information. There is other entertainment at EPCOT that is separate from the storytellers and separate from the candlelight processional, and that is Joyful Soul, which is a gospel choir that comes and does different performances, usually at the front of World Showcase. And they are there in particular around Kwanzaa. They'll talk about Kwanzaa, which is the week between Christmas and New Year's, and that was really, really amazing to watch them perform last year. They performed a song from Sister Act 2, Joyful, Joyful, and I was videotaping them because I wanted to send it to my sister, but I was also singing. So I sent it to my sister and she's like, I know what you sound like. I wanted to hear them. And it really was a joyful celebration. So also make sure you check them out. All right, let's go over to Hollywood Studios. So Hollywood Studios is also all decked out for the holidays. And, as someone that really likes the aesthetic of the 40s and the 50s, then the decorations at Hollywood Studios are just, oh my gosh, they're so cool. They're so retro. It's so great to take all these pictures. They're really, really beautiful. So it's all decorated for Christmas. I will definitely post a whole bunch of pictures of me in front of the Christmas decorations because I was there last year for Dapper Day, and so I was, I definitely Christmas out with all of the photos. So yeah, go and enjoy all of those Christmas decorations. In the evenings, there is a projection show that's on the Hollywood Tower of Terror, and that was really cool. They also have big band music that's all Christmas music, really, really awesome. Just like at Tusker House in Animal Kingdom, the Hollywood and Vine character dining, all of the characters are also in their Hollywood Christmas finery, and that's really cool as well. Again, there wasn't anything at the buffet that was particularly Christmassy, but it was worth going to be able to see the characters in all of their Christmas finery. And I will come back to Hollywood Studios in a second. Let's go over to Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom is obviously very, very Christmased. I'm using that as a verb. Main Street USA is just done up for Christmas. There is a giant Christmas tree right in the middle. There is decorations all down Main Street USA. There is piped in cinnamon gingerbread all down Main Street USA. It is so cool. The Jungle Cruise gets an overlay called the Jingle Cruise, and that's quite fun. And it is just beautiful, and it is perfect. Just like across all the parks, I haven't mentioned this before, there's a ton of PhotoPass photographers, and they might have like different props or even like magic shots that are Christmas related. And I always like to do a lot of pictures down Main Street because it is so Christmassy. And I'm always like, ooh, this is a great Christmas card. But I'm there in the middle of December, like I'm not. And it's kind of actually weird to send out a Christmas card of just moi. I say moi on purpose, actually, because it's a very like Miss Piggy thing to do. But in my head, I'm like, ooh, this could be a wonderful Christmas card. Anyway, it's just really, really beautiful. Okay, so in sum, you can go for a couple days during the month of December and you can see all of the decorations at Disney Springs, all the different Disney resorts. You can also go in mid-November through December and be able to see all the Christmas decorations at Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios. And then later in the month of November, you can also see all the stuff at EPCOT as well as Animal Kingdom. So again, the closer you get to December, the more likely it is you will see the most decorations. However, you can go earlier in November and definitely be enveloped in a whole big snow globe of fun and holiday cheer by going to one of the two specially ticketed Christmas parties. So there used to be only one Christmas party, which was at Magic Kingdom, and that is Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. There are 25 different dates between November 8th to December the 20th that goes from 7 p.m. to midnight. It's a specially ticketed event, and just like with the Halloween parties, you can get in to the park with your ticket at 4 p.m., even though the party doesn't start until 7. However, there's also a new Christmas party, and that is Disney's Jollywood Nights. This is the second year that they are doing it, and it is held at Hollywood Studios. It runs between November the 9th and December the 25th. It is not the same dates at all as the Christmas parties at Magic Kingdom, so you can go to both if you really wanted to. It's 5 hours, and it's going to be, like I said, the second year, and it is definitely going to be better than the first year. But if you followed any of the stuff online, you'll know that like the first two parties were a disaster, and then it increasingly got better, but it wasn't a great event. However, what I did hear from a ton of different people, different creators, things like that, is that Disney really took all of the criticism very seriously. They had conversations with different people that went. They also offered refunds and things like that because they wanted to make an even better party. And this year is definitely going to be a better party. Because I'm not a big Hollywood Studios fan, I was like, nah, I don't think I'm going to go. But the more I've heard about things that they've been announcing, I'm just like, maybe I should go. There isn't actually going to be a party on the days that I'm going to be at Disney World, so I didn't have to make that decision. But it actually seems really cool. Let's talk about the Magic Kingdom party first. So Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party is just like, again, it's going to be like you're living in a snow globe. I have never done it before because I kept thinking that I would wait for like my nieces and nephews and then we could all go together. But you know, they're not really growing up quite as fast as I want. And you know, here's the thing. When you keep just saving things, it can get built up in your own head, but not in other people's heads. So if this is something that I want to be able to do, and it would be great to do it with others, but if it's what I want to do, then do it solo, right? I'm not preaching to the choir here. Just go and do it solo because sure, you can wait for others to do it. But if you are waiting for so long that it no longer becomes an option for you, or if you're waiting for so long for people who aren't really into it, then it's not worth waiting. And you are a special little starfish, solos, and there's no reason why you need to prolong such wonder and such fun and such cheerfulness that you would get at Disney World by just waiting for others. So if you haven't bit the bullet to go yet, definitely do it. And a Christmas party might be a really great foray into it. So at the party, there is a special fireworks show. There are different Disney characters that are all dressed up in Christmas outfits. There is a Christmas parade. There's going to be a ton of different photo options. Just like they did trick-or-treating at the Halloween party, they do a cookie and hot chocolate stroll where you can go to different places and get a complimentary cookie and a hot chocolate. And of course, there'll be merchandise and special different menu items that you can only get at the party and all of that stuff. And I just think it's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. It's the first time, like I said, I'm doing the Christmas party. And I'm really glad that I am not waiting, because it's something that I've wanted to do for so long that it's just like, no, go do it. Like, again, sure, I can go back with my nieces and nephews when they're old enough, but let's say their parents never want to take them. I know that I get to go and experience that, and that is important to me. Now, I am going that first week of December, so I won't be able to tell you about the party until after I go. But actually, one of my plans is to record a lot of the soundscapes around the different party, and I'm going to post that the Christmas week instead of a full episode. I'm going to do a soundscapes episode. So anyway, I'm excited to share that with you, Solos. Jollywood Nights, on the other hand, is a completely different thing, and it does feel a little bit like they're throwing things at the wall to be like, let's see what sticks. So last year they promised a whole bunch of stuff. They promised kind of glitz and glam and Muppets and all of this stuff. And they delivered on all those things, but a 3 out of a 10. It wasn't that great. So this year they've promised all those things again, but they have heightened it quite a bit. Also, one of the things that they did last year to kind of rectify the disaster that the first couple parties were, was they brought a lot more characters out, kind of rare characters. One of the characters you can only see in Shanghai Disney. And they brought all these characters out and they were like, look, we have characters. And so this year they're doing it on purpose. They are bringing out and promoting all the different unique characters that you are going to see. So there's going to be glitz and glam and ton of characters. There's also going to be a skating party, which is pretty cool. Not a skating party, but a skating performance, which is pretty cool. And other stage shows like the Muppets, like the very successful Nightmare Before Christmas one that they did last year, which is really cool. They've talked about the menu items, and they have this chocolate taco that looks just delicious, which is really, really cool. And they are giving away these toasted marshmallow, champagne marshmallows at the end of the night for everybody, which is a really cool souvenir as well. There also promises to be more merchandise and some more food and fewer bottlenecks of lines. I think maybe they just didn't expect certain areas to be quite as busy, so there were these weird bottlenecks of lines for drinks and for food in certain places. So they've kind of implicitly promised that that won't be the case. Another amazing thing about this particular party is that all the PhotoPass photos are included in your ticket. So if you go and every time you see a PhotoPass photographer, you are taking pictures and you wait in line for all the different characters and you are doing your PhotoPass, all those pictures are included with your park ticket. So you do not need Memory Maker on top of that at all. Just a reminder, the distinction. The PhotoPass photographers are the people, usually they're wearing green, that take your photos. It is free to do those photos. You can take as many photos with those photographers as you would like during any of your regular trips. If you have a Memory Maker package, that is the package that buys those photos. So I have a Memory Maker add-on to my annual pass, which means anytime I go and get a photo with a PhotoPass photographer, that is already available for me to download. If I didn't have that, then I would either need to buy a package for the days that I was there, or I would individually buy the photos that I like. It's not economical to do it that way, but if you're only going once every 5 years or whatever, then those are some options that you have. But at this party, all the photos that are taken are yours. They don't have a watermark on them. You don't need to pay extra. They are included. So that is really awesome if you don't have a Memory Maker package. So again, you can go to Disney and you can see the decorations at the hotels. You can go to Disney Springs and see those decorations. You can go to the parks and see those decorations and eat all those different snacks. Or you can add to all those experiences and go to one or both, because they're never on the same night, of the specially ticketed Christmas parties and really get to experience Christmas that way. So there's a ton of different options, and it really is like a sliding scale of how much money you might want to pay during your Christmas trip to Disney World. So, is it weird to be at Disney at Christmas when you are solo? Well, before I get into it, it really depends on two different things. One, your own history of Christmas in your life and your comfort going solo. So, I'm very comfortable doing things solo. So, putting that to the side, my experience with Christmas is that I love Christmas. I love Christmas. I love all the stuff related to Christmas. But the adult family members in my immediate family don't really love Christmas quite as much. So it is always a bit of a struggle to kind of get in the type of enthusiasm that I want at Christmas time. And often I really have to dial my own enthusiasm down because it's just so disappointing when you're like, look at all this Christmas stuff. And they're like, okay, whatever. All right, let's move on. Yeah. So anyway, when I've gone for Christmas, I thought that it might kind of be a little sad because Christmas is such a family-oriented holiday and it's so kid-focused that I thought maybe it would feel a little awkward to be there solo. I was thinking that maybe I would feel the soloness even more, or maybe just feel the absence of family even more. However, that was not the case. I've gone for Christmas the first week in December. I've gone the last 2 years, and I have found that it has been the shot of Christmas that I need to kind of get through the holiday season, to be reminded that there are so many people that just love Christmas and love all the things related to Christmas, that it is such a wonderful reminder. It just kind of sits in my heart to get through the Christmas season if people don't have the same enthusiasm that I do, because I know that there are people that do have that enthusiasm, and I found them at Disney World. I did not find that there was anything about being there solo during Christmas, in terms of the energy I got from others, that was any different than any other solo trip to Disney that I've taken. I found that people were so excited and they were just really, embracing the fact that you were there and it was Christmas and all that stuff. And there was one cast member who looked at my outfit and she said that I just kind of encapsulated Christmas with how I looked. Although I didn't have any, I did look very cute. I'm sure I will post pictures related to this episode online, but I just had a white sweater and a cute little necklace, and my hair was anyway, I did look cute. I wasn't a walking elf or anything like that, but it was just really, really nice to be there. The downside about being at Walt Disney World during Christmas is that it doesn't feel like Christmas because it is still very, very hot. So that is something that you need to keep in mind, that when you're packing or when you're planning your different outfits, that you're not wearing big, heavy sweatshirts and big, heavy sweaters. It is still going to be very warm out. But I live in Canada. I live in a place where, it will be winter in December. It starts to get very gray and all that stuff. And it's also just having that shot of sunshine coming back to work that second week of December after being surrounded by Christmas all of that first week of December in Florida. It really gets you through December really, really easily. I found that I coasted through September. I would go into meetings and I was just oh my God, I just had all this vitamin D and all this cheerfulness and all this sunshine, and it was just so wonderful. And people are like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for the break. And I'm like, oh yeah, me too, definitely. It's harsh out there. Meanwhile, 3 days before, I was, doing the Christmas tree stroll at Disney Springs getting a sunburn. It was amazing. So in terms of going solo, I didn't feel like it was awkward at all. I didn't feel like it was any more awkward than any other trip solo. And again, when I'm there, I don't feel solo, although I don't feel awkward, although I did understand that I might feel different around the Christmas season. I didn't. And in fact, it felt even more magical to be there because I was doing it for me. I wasn't fighting with family members to be like, okay, let's do a turkey. And they're like, no, it's okay. We can just order in Chinese food. No, we definitely can't order in Chinese food. We're going to do a full-on Christmas turkey. Let's get started. It wasn't any of that type of energy. It was just all Christmas. And it really, really was wonderful. And it really felt like the magic of Christmas was there at Walt Disney World. And it was exactly what I needed to get through the month of December. And I can't wait for my trip this year because I anticipate it's going to be the same. Although my life is actually quite different than it has been the last 2 Decembers, I am really, really looking forward to everything the Christmas season has to offer at Disney World. And to be able to do the Christmas party, I just think it's going to be such a wonderful way to start December. And I hope that you are there too. In fact, I actually know there's going to be some solos there at the same time that I'm going to be there. So if you're going to be there, let's walk by each other and be like, hey Solo, hey Solo. So there you go. Hopefully highlighted to you all the different things that you can do if you're going to Disney World this Christmas season, and how much you can do without going to the parks, but how much you can do if you do decide to do a Christmas party, and just how wonderful it is to do it solo. I mean, it's always wonderful to do it solo, but there are some things that aren't great to do solo. So coming up in the month of October, that took a very weird turn. Coming up in the month of October, there's going to be some episodes about what not to do solo. There's only a few things on that list, but it is just from my experience. There's going to be an episode of general tips and tricks that don't really have a narrative place in the rest of the different episodes, so I'm just going to put all of that together in one episode. I also am planning an episode about things like the annual pass, the Disney dining plan, about whether or not it's worth getting those things when you're going solo. And there's also going to be an episode about the enchanting extras that you can do at the parks. Last week was such a fun episode about all the enchanting extras, activities that you can do around the resort. So I also want to talk about the things you can do at the parks. All right, well, that's enough for today. Have a wonderful October. I love October. It's such a beautiful month and also a spooky month. So if you are into Halloween, I hope you are getting all ready for the Halloween season as well. I'm going to do a special episode that week of Halloween on Disney bounding, and maybe you can do some Disney bounding for Halloween at your normal job if you're not planning on going trick-or-treating yourself. Although we should bring back trick-or-treating for adults, don't you think? All right, Solo, that's enough for today. Have a great rest of the week. Talk to you later. Bye. Hey Solos, it's Samantha. I hope you enjoyed this episode as well as all the episodes of Disney Solo Magic. It has been so wonderful to create this podcast content for you and to help build this community of conversations about solo travel to Disney. And I really, really thank you for participating in the conversation. It would be even extra awesome if you could participate in the conversation by letting other people know that this conversation is happening. Please make sure you subscribe to the podcast, rate it, share it with others, and even providing a review helps the algorithm let other people who are interested in Disney content find out about this podcast. You can also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Facebook, although Instagram is the best way to get in touch with me. My Instagram handle is Disney_solo_magic_podcast. And you can find links to all that social media content in the description of this podcast below. Thank you again for sharing the magic of solo travel to Disney, and I can't wait to keep creating content for you. Bye!